Types of lacuna and crypts. We learned previously that lacuna and crypts are genetic deficiencies caused by fiber separations in the stroma of the iris. Since density equals resistance or resilience, wherever there are fiber deviations, the body will be less resilient in that area. In this chapter, we're going to study various shapes of lacuna and crypts, what they are called, and what they mean to the health of the body. The shades of darkness within the lacuna are also important. Remember our equation, shading equals reaction or the ability of the body to react to illness. We are also going to learn that the locations of these lacuna and crypts have importance, so we will review the terms topostabile and topolabile and the definitions with respect to the various lacuna. Okay, now we're coming to some of my students' favorite parts here. We're going to discuss lacuna types. We have talked about lacuna, and now we're going to review specific lacuna types. And here we see a honeycomb lacuna. And honeycomb lacuna are lacuna that have tiny crypts inside of them. The honeycomb lacuna was often called worm nests by historical iridologists because they tend to hold energy in. They're not able to kick toxins out, and what do worms like to live on is toxins. So we have a conglomeration of little crypts that act as an Achilles heel to that person. It's a weakness in that area, and they're usually inside the collarette where parasites might tend to dwell. You might want to ask about stomach aches, problems such as that in the digestive tract. The stair step or roof tile lacuna looks like a little stair step. We see it here, and this stair step lacuna looks just like we could step up the steps, and those stair step lacuna show little blockages in that area. There are little crypts there. It indicates a serious condition in the area, a tendency, in some cases, historical iridologists would say, for a serious condition. It's topostabile, and that means it's topostabile for the organ that we see it in. So we want to look at what area it's located in, and in this case it's located in the area of the prostate or the uterus. The torpedo lacuna looks like a torpedo or a cigar, and those are located outside the collarette, along the collarette, and they indicate a deficiency of nerve energy. They're topostabile in the area that they're in, but they affect the entire nervous system. Here we have a very interesting little lacuna called the beak lacuna. And this lacuna is a sharp, small little lacuna that beaks into the collarette. It's also been called the Schnabel lacuna. Schnabel means beak in German. And when it beaks into the collarette, the straight pointed beak, it affects the entire nervous system. And historical iridologists felt that this was a tendency for a serious problem within the nervous system or the intestinal tract. And now we have the curved beak lacuna. When it's a curved beak, it's a less serious sign, a tendency for a more benign type of condition. It curves into the collarette and does not point into the collarette. Here we're going to discuss collarette crypts, and these are little crypts inside the collarette. They're small little crypts that show a familial sign of bowel disorders. They're usually just inside the collarette, and there may be some disturbances such as diverticulitis, diverticulosis, gas, and cramping. These are all genetic signs of familial history of bowel disorders. The tulip lacuna looks like a tulip. It's very interesting. Here we have the tulip, And the tulip lacuna is topostable. It's usually in the nasal reaction field and the head area, and it shows a tendency for sinus problems and sometimes even polyps in the nasal area. And now we're going to discuss an interesting lacuna called the shoe lacuna. It looks like a shoe. It's actually made of two small lacuna beside of each other that are shaped like a shoe. And the shoe lacuna is usually found in the kidney reaction field. In the kidney reaction field, it is topostable, and it usually means that there is a tendency for kidney deficiency. But if we see the shoe lacuna in any other part of the iris, such as in the heart area, if the shoe lacuna showed up here at 3 o'clock in the left iris, it would be topolabile to the kidney, but we would also ask questions about the heart. The shoe lacuna always means that there's a tendency for kidney deficiencies. Here's an interesting lacuna shape called the asparagus lacuna. We usually see it in the lower extremities. The asparagus lacuna looks like an asparagus. It's a topostable sign. It's a tendency for a degenerative or chronic condition in that area. And in this case, we see it in the left iris, in the area of the uterus and the prostate. In this case, on the left side. The medusa or the jellyfish lacuna actually looks like a jellyfish. It was called a medusa by the German iridologist Marbach, who thought it looked like a lady's hair flowing in the wind. It usually shows up in the bronchus regions or the kidney regions. It's a tendency for a serious sign in the respiratory or the kidney areas. This is an open lacuna form. Neuronal netting actually looks like a fishnet. It's a very loose weave open lacuna, and it has fishnet looking structures within it, which are tiny little crypts. And with neuronal netting, the lacuna is topostable in the area that you find it in. And it often means anxiety, a tendency for anxiety. We often see it in the bronchus areas or the lung areas, which can lead to a tendency for asthmatic conditions. The leaf lacuna looks like a leaf. It has little ribs inside of it. So we have a little leaf here. And when we see the leaf lacuna, those lacuna are found in the organs of secretion. And the leaf lacuna is topostable in the area that you find it in. If it's in the adrenal area, look for conditions in the adrenal. Ask for about adrenal exhaustion. But it always, whatever organ of secretion it's in, will affect all the other organs of secretion. For example, if it's in the adrenal reaction field, it will also affect the pancreas and the gallbladder and all other organs of secretion. The polypose lacuna looks like a little peanut. It's always along the collarette. It has to do with a tendency for intestinal polyps. And here we see the polypose lacuna.